All right, everybody, we are live with the crew at Mark Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, Ram. We have Mr. Anthony, who everybody knows on the World Wide Web. He's supporting Mark Dodge, Mr. Aaron Ginsberg, and we have Ben, who has been behind the scenes supporting everybody. And I believe Ben was at like parts, accessories, and all the fun stuff, right?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you guys are here today. This is kind of like our quarterly thing that Aaron and I wanted to do to kind of help a lot of followers as far as in the Ram community, Dodge, Jeep, and especially ever since 2025, talking about the Ram 1500 and the introduction of the Hurricane. And so I thought this would be a great opportunity for us to get together and talk, because there's a lot of things that have changed as far as in the last 6 months since we talked. And in full fairness, a lot of great things.
Man,
I mean, it's just incredible. Like with the world we live in right now and everything, I feel like there's just so much negativity, but it's like, dude, Ram's still bringing the heat, and there's a lot of good things to talk about. So I kind of wanted to hand some of this off to Anthony, because he's put together some really good talking points. Want to specifically kind of talk about right now, hot on the mind of everyone is talking about the deals and some of the changes. So let's just get the ball rolling here on the 1500 Ram.
Barry, let's tell everybody what Anthony does at the dealership as well. Anthony,
Yeah.
why don't you fill everybody in with that?
Absolutely, yeah. So my name is Anthony. What I do at Mark Dodge is manage our factory order department, special order department. And what that means is getting people just exactly what they want, speccing out their truck, however it may be, whether that's a 1500 or a diesel dually, and Jeeps and things too. Getting it ordered and getting it into your driveway. So it's a super fun job. Get to talk to people from literally all over the country and help people get specifically what they want for the best price and make it as easy as possible. So that puts me in a position where I'm kind of looking forward as like, okay, what's the deal right now on the 2026 model year and what's coming in, as opposed to Aaron that's dealing with what's on the lot as a general sales manager, taking care of everything that physically happens there. And then Bennett gets to actually do, I think probably the most fun is that he actually gets to like play with the physical trucks itself and kind of do that stuff. So it kind of goes in order that way. To start off with 1500 Ram at the moment, orders are open obviously for 2026. They have been since June. The biggest difference in 26s versus 25s on a 1500 Ram is the availability of powertrain selection. So we have throughout the lineup 3 different powertrains that we can choose from. In the Tradesmen and Bighorn, we have a V6 Pentastar, the standard output Hurricane, and also the Hemi. And then in the middle, in the Laramie, you got a standard output Hurricane or a Hemi. And then in the Rebel, currently Hurricane only. We will get Hemi at some point on the 1500 Rebel. It's not there yet.
Good to know.
And that will come.
No timing on that?
No timing on it yet. Okay. Still coming. And then the Limited is an even swap. If you want even swap between the Hemi and the high output Hurricane, Longhorn Limited, either of those. And then, of course, the Tungsten and the RHO up at the top are high output Hurricane only. And it looks like it'll stay that way. A lot of people have asked us, are they going to put a Hemi in the Tungsten? Doesn't seem like it. It seems like that's one of the differentiators between Tungsten and Limited is different items about the speakers and seats, and it's Hurricane only. And same thing for RHO being a Hurricane only as well.
And I'll jump in on that. When I found out that they were going to keep the Tungsten with just the high output 3.0, and as we talked, 6 months ago, I've had nothing but positive reviews for the inline 6, for the Hurricane, especially starting early or late fall, late spring, early summer. Any kind of pushback that we had, I just wanted to wait for the Hemi. The truck got out there, the engine got out there, and the feedback kept coming back like, hey, this thing's bad to the bone. In fact, the owner of the store, Mr. Boniel, he is a Hemi guy through and through. Loves to drive the Tungsten, and he's all gas, no brakes. If he's timing himself anywhere he goes, So if I tell him it's 10 minutes it's 11 minutes to the house, to the store, he's going to say, no, sir, it's 12 and a half minutes. But he's even said, look, I love this engine. It gets up and goes.
Yep.
I think his only pushback would be just what everybody else is that sound of not having that same sound. But I think hopefully in a little bit we can address that with Bennett. We've got some exciting things we can share to counteract that.
Sure.
But I just wanted to jump in, is I think even with the tungsten, or I think now that we have these different availabilities, you're not just limited to the inline 6. You're not just limited to the 5.7. You have options. You don't want 6 different options. You have that. None of them will be great. They'll all be okay or good. I think you've got 2 great, fantastic, 3, I guess, technically speaking, fantastic options to choose from.
I know I see a lot of questions specifically around the Express, and I confuse this. Maybe, okay, they're doing an Express also on the 2500, and then you got the Warlock, but Warlock is only 2500. Is that right? Or are they going to do a 1500 Warlock
So
too?
they have Warlocks in the 26 right now.
Okay.
You have 26 half-ton Warlocks. You're going to have a 26 heavy-duty Warlock.
That's right.
And Frank, I think I see an question mark
on about the Express.
That you have. Okay, so let me see. Ken, you're asking about a Power Wagon package still available in 26. I have seen it as a Rebel, a gas Rebel, Ken. I just dealer traded one out today to another store that asked me for it. They have a trade. It's basically a Ram Power Wagon, but right around mid-60s, 64 grand, which is the same price point as you had on the tradesmen with the Power Wagon package. So take a look at that. I think I have one on my website coming with Ram boxes. I just let one go, but I can replace it. And then, Frank, you asked that if, let's see, I have not seen the Express. Where is the 15? So the Expresses that I'm getting right now on the 20 trim level have been tradesmen. I haven't seen the Express, but I've seen like tradesmen, crew cab packages. They've been sending them to us as 2025 models.
Okay.
And they've been built in Mexico. So they built a lot of trucks, half-ton trucks up in, you're welcome, Ken, up in Toledo or excuse me, up in Detroit. But they also have started building some of those half-tons in Mexico for 2025 models. They can get them in for less. And they also currently have that 10% rebate plus whatever the dealer is willing to discount on those 2025 models. If you look at my site, I think I show one. Came in with some transport damage, unfortunately. But I've sold every single one of those tradesmen 2025 models within 24 hours of them arriving. I just dealer traded for one today to get it, just to have it. It'll be sold tomorrow. Great price point. Cheapest truck out there that's a full-size 4-door. I think MSRP is around 46 grand. You can't beat it. You sell it for 36, 37. Everybody wins.
You guys, just so you know, guys, in the comments, we're going to cover, I've already got talking points Anthony and I put together.
Oh, sorry.
On this whole thing. We've got a lot of great things. We're going to answer all these questions, I promise. So the question from Zanny Trucker, Hemi's arriving. I know for me, I'm seeing lots of Hemis like about to roll up to dealers here in the Michigan area, but I don't think I've seen any of them that are in limiteds. I think most, Bighorn.
So what you have right now is, I described what we can order, all the way through that chain. No Hemi orders on a Rebel. Now what's in production currently is only Bighorn and Laramie. That's it. So you're not going to, you can search all day. You're not going to find a limited 2026 with a Hemi in it, or a tradesman for that matter. The top and the bottom, they're waiting. They're going to roll out a bunch of Bighorns and Laramies first, and then they'll start producing the tradesman and the limited / Longhorn hopefully the very end of the year. So I've got a couple orders for customers in place. We got a couple dealer stock orders allocated to that we're just waiting. So you want
premium trim has been a delay, and I think they want to get as many of the new Hemis out as they can.
Sure.
Premium's gonna be a smaller segment of that. Just because it's a smaller, percentage of what they normally produce. They wanted to get a Hemi, at least one Hemi to every dealer as soon as they possibly could.
So we made it 7.5 minutes before I was planning for this question to come up. What is the status of the TRX? Everybody wants to know.
Me too. It's coming. It's coming. Now, Barry can tell you, he and I prod him, he prods me. Hey, what have you heard? What do you know? I think it's sooner than later when they open it. But it all has to do with parts availability, has to do with now that I think and this is, again, I've told you this before when we do these, is my opinion, not fact. I think one of the main reasons they stopped building it was the taxation that they were getting on
cafe.
I think it was 10 grand a pop. Now that's a
Yeah.
rough number. Now that I don't believe that they'll have that. They're trying to figure out, okay, can we ramp it up? How are we going to produce them? How many are we going to produce them? When can we produce them? A lot of what you're seeing right now is all these trucks that are in, with the Hemis or higher end models have been delayed. We've had a big slowdown on half tons. If you take a look at our website, I've got a 12, 2025 1500s left, all priced to go. I mean, they are blown out. They've got 10% rebate. I mean, they are stupid good pricing. Yeah. If you'll want to slide over to the 25 models, half tons besides that RHO. And I've got you click the year to 2025, and I've got a good selection of 2026s. Well, those 2026s have just arrived in the last 30 to 45 days. So there was a big gap there where we didn't have a ton of half-ton inventory. Well, they're coming.
Yep.
And you're going to have great selection of 2026 now. You're going to have a huge selection coming here the next 2 to 3 weeks on everybody's lot of great truck. Like that's Mr. Mark's demo right now. I was driving it and we sold
Sharp-looking truck.
And it's beautiful. It's got about 3,800 miles on it. Mr. Mark's driving it like it's like he does, all gas, no brakes. But I think I've got it priced at 18 grand off.
Holy cow.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's a hell of a deal. So you're seeing that right now. And what I like about what Ram's doing is you see some really good incentives on the 2026 models as well. They're not being bashful about that. So we think that they're going to open up the TRX orders. We hope they're going to open up the TRX orders in the next 30 to 60 days. Is that going to happen? I really don't know, but we've heard rumor on the street. We sure hope that does happen. We plan, if they give us an open allocation, what I mean by that, if we can place sold orders for folks, like we don't have a limitation of numbers of how many we can place, we're going to do like we always done, just discount the heck out of them and be the #1 TRX dealership in the world.
Awesome.
As long as we need that open allocation, we're going to roll.
Yep. Everything I keep hearing is that people will see them in their possession by like summer of 26. That's what I'm hearing. Like building up supply chain over the next 2-3 months, doing quality checks, manufacturing SOP, say March of next year, make sure it rolls it out. Just like we saw at the RHO, it took some time after they produce them to get them to dealerships, and then they'll start
to take time.
Exactly.
You want them to be right. And look, it's never been perfect on anything. It doesn't matter what manufacturer you go to. You're going to have your glitches, your hiccups. What you want is to make sure that they're addressing it properly, and that it's nothing major. Which we've seen some minor things and some decent things too. But I think they've all been pretty much addressed. And as we've talked before, the good news with us is we see everything, good and bad. We see it all, but we're able to get it addressed and,
for sure,
and jump right in it.
Here's a question from Peter. There was the rollout at Roadkill Nights where they took the 5.7 truck and had a supercharged Mopar direct option. This is a good question for you, Ben. Have you heard anything on this as far as timing? Is this going to come through like Mopar, through dealer or direct connection, or what have you heard?
I have not heard anything just yet, and trust me, if there's going to be somebody that knows about that, it's going to be me, because every time I see an accessories person, I'm asking, can we please do what Ford does and offer these packages and warranty, because people would eat it up and love it. I'm always talking the racing stuff with Aaron. He knows that. So if I knew this answer, I'd love to give it to everybody, because I want everybody to have it just as much as y'all do. Because I'd love to see Mopar get back in that power game. So as soon as I know something, I'll get back with you and I'll let you know, like, hey, this is what I found out. This is an ETA. But right now I don't hear anything. None of the reps that I talk to, like, I get a new rep about every other month. Nobody knows anything. Nobody hears anything. They're not sure why they don't offer it. So everybody's on board to try to get it there. We just need to get a team up there somewhere to approve it and get it pushed through.
And guys, what's cool about the Mark Dodge team is that once this is available, we'll get Anthony and Ben and the team. We'll update this video and description comments where if you're interested in something like that, you can talk to them and we'll get that to you. And Frank is asking the $1 million question. is what a lot of people I think are really wanting to know. And I'm curious myself. I've got my thoughts. I think it's really heavily focused right now towards probably Hemi. It would be my guess. There's a ton of orders, but are you guys still seeing that? Or was it more the initial hit, or are you still seeing people pushing towards the Hurricane?
So great question. And it's not the answer that I thought it was going to be. Where people have a choice. So I'm excluding RHO, excluding where we can't order, but where people have a choice, which is limited to Laramie and Bighorn currently, it's still like 60-40 Hurricane actually.
Interesting.
Now, the caveat to that, but I'll back that up by saying that was, we still have some 2025 orders that are just, trickling through. Hemi did not open right away on 2026. It is not available on all the different trims. So in general, our 2026 light duty ordering starts off slow. It's hard for a customer who wants a Hemi, even though they've waited. Maybe they were supposed to buy last year and they didn't, so they're waited till this year. It's hard for them to see that when you see a 10% rebate on a Laramie Hurricane on the lot. So it's a 70,000 Laramie. It got a $7,000 rebate plus $5,000 from the dealer.
Good point.
12 grand off. How do I get a Hemi? Geez, that's a lot. They're smart. The Hemi buyers are patient. Like they're not like, it wasn't gone for 10 years. It was gone for 1.
Yep.
So they still have to wait till the rebates come in and make sense for the right time to buy. They know we have the right engine. It's the right time to buy. Having said that, I think some huge moves were made over the last 10 days or I don't know, Aaron. Yeah, 10 days or so when they put out the 0% interest on Bighorns and Laramies for 2026 model year. That's a big rebate. That's a super, super helpful rebate for people who are trying to get into a new vehicle. And it's September. We're not even in 26 yet. So
that's interesting.
It's a really good sign that they're standing up on that deal where you can get 0% interest on 60 months for 2026. It's lockable if you have an order, or you can grab it if it's on the lot. That comes at the exchange against a $3,500 cash rebate.
Right.
So you have just a little bit of math to do where you go online, you go to a auto loan calculator and you put in what you think your best interest rate is times how much you're going to be financing. You look at the total interest paid. Is it more or less than $3,500? Chances are it's more.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you did, what is the typical percentage?
Somewhere else it can be a super helpful position to be in.
What's the average percentage of like a tier 1 credit right now? Is like 5-6%? Would you guys say?
In that ballpark, depending on the structure of the deal.
Yeah. I mean,
in term,
my mind goes to $50,000, 5% interest, $2,500 in interest year 1. And so year 2, year 3, year 2, $2,200. I mean, you've got easily $12,000, $13,000 in interest. So you lose $3,500 to gain $9,000 or $12,000.
Right.
I mean, that seems like a no-brainer.
So there's I'm looking up what my site is. Oh, we can paste it later, I guess.
So, yeah,
but
but
if we were talking about
what's that?
If we were talking about the old 4.78 V8 that we used to offer, I think we'd be having a different conversation where everybody's ordering the Hemi. You've got a winner with the 3.0, and I don't think there's anything to be scared of. That initial hesitation has been gone. So when we read the question, I'm like, it's not the Hemi. Not that it won't be with the right incentives are out, or when they're in full swing production. That's the other thing is when I look at it, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go read the reviews of the Hurricane. Do I want to wait 6 months, or do I want to wait? Do I want to just get what I want now?
Sure.
And that's the biggest thing too is this. It's not COVID, so people don't have that same patience just because they can't get it. And I don't blame you. Hopefully, not killing the kids right now. That's. But I think people are accepting that it. Huh?
You froze up for a second.
Yeah.
I think people are accepting that. Yeah, are accepting that engine and are really embracing it.
No, this is a perfect time frame to talk about where I feel like you guys have been great as far as like transparency, and where we've kind of looked, and we talked about this, I don't know, 3-4 months back, where a lot of social media was talking about, oh my gosh, the hurricane, thermostat issues, turbo issues, this issue, this issue, this issue. And some of the math to me and the data doesn't really totally make sense. I know when we talked last time, you guys had not seen a thermostat on a Ram 1500 Hurricane fail yet. Now, there were some on some of the early Wagoneer, Grand Wagoneers, but they've made 3 revisions since then, and it sounds like it's a pretty solid thing. I know I've never had a problem with my Hurricane in 13,000 miles of my RHO. I've talked to Tim from Pickup Trucks Plus Talk. I've talked to John, TRD John, Rocky Road. Between us 4, we've got 80,000 miles on an RHO. No one's had a thermostat issue. No one's had a turbo issue. No one's had an oil consumption issue. Everything's been solid there. But I'm curious, what have you guys seen as far as, let's just say with the topic of the thermostat? Have you guys seen any updates since the last around thermostats in the Ram Hurricane?
It's pretty solid. We've only lost 1 engine to all the RHOs or all the Hurricanes we sold. We've only lost 1 engine because of a thermostat. And the last really issues we had were with Wagoneers whenever a lot of people were having them. Other than that, we have had replaced 0 turbos, anything that on the RHOs or any of the Hurricane motors. So they're pretty reliable motors. They're built very well, especially high output motors.
Yeah. Was this a high output version or the standard output?
I don't know that one.
Okay.
What it was, I think it was a standard output if I had to guess. But I don't know that one. Yeah, it was a Bighorn, yeah.
Bighorn. And I mean, without real specifics, you guys have probably sold 2, 3, 4, 5,000 Hurricane Rams at this point, I'm assuming. I mean, it's got to be a huge number just with what you guys did in RHOs alone. So if
definitely over 1,000. I mean, you probably
just
right.
RHOs.
You always try to hesitate. Caution.
And we would hear about it because the way we communicate with our managers, when somebody has an issue, we all communicate the issue to each other. So it's something that we would all have heard about. If there was more issues with the Hurricane motors, it'd be something that we wouldn't have to think about or only rely on me.
That's awesome.
We have a text chain. So if you buy within 2 weeks from us, or if you buy, 2 weeks, 500 miles, if you break down, you have an issue. It's called CID, customer distress. From the owner of the store to every manager and the shop foreman, which 16, 17 people, gets a text. Here's the status. Here's the customer, what they bought. Here's the VIN number. Here's what's going on. Here's the game plan to help them. Look, we had a 1-ton breakdown yesterday. It happens. It happens. Somebody could have left something unhooked, unplugged, unglued, whatever. And he wasn't far away. He's 45 miles away. I paid $900 to get it towed here. Fine. I'm gonna swap into a different one. I'll fix the truck. But what he felt was, we care.
Yeah.
And no, I can't. I don't build the trucks. I can't make. I can't go rebuild them, but I can take care of you. And it's trying to make sure that level of service is there. Things are going to happen. Doesn't matter what brand. Bentleys have and Rolls Royce have a repair shop. They all have a service department. So
well, this is a perfect segue. And by the way, the other cool thing is we're going to continue to keep having this dialogue with Mark Dodge, and we will, to ease people's minds, including myself. It's, I'm a customer. I buy RHO with my hard-earned money of talking about this. And if there's ever any issues, these guys will share and we'll all share together. But this is a perfect time to talk about the other changes. A lot of people are already aware of this in 2026. What Ram did in a lot of ways is kind of a game changer with the 2026, 10-year, 100,000 mile warranty. And I've got some questions myself on this. Do all 2026 trucks get the 10-year, 100,000 mile powertrain?
As long as they're purchased before January 2nd or by January 2nd. Now, the window sticker does not show that.
I've seen that. That's why I was going to ask that.
And John will answer that here in a minute for sure. But so it's the literature that's out there. It gets reported or applied to that vehicle once the sale is reported through their NVIDIA, we call it NVDR, through their system. Then the vehicle gets tagged with that Mopar powertrain extension. And it's not transferable to the second owner.
That's right.
Yeah,
And
that's what I was gonna
so
say. It gets tagged with the VIN number and that
The owner.
first owner that was recorded as a new vehicle delivery receipt. So those two are tied together. So that's why it's not on the window sticker. If it was printed on a Monroney label, it would have to be eligible for everyone because that's a physical piece. You know, it didn't say there's no qualifications on that on the window sticker version of it. Other manufacturers do, which Aaron and Mike taught me about. But yeah, when you are the buyer during the program period, your name and that VIN number get attached to this 100,000 mile, 10-year powertrain warranty,
which will be pullable from any Stellantis, certified dealer. They can pull it in their system.
Is it okay? So I want to also, it's engine, transmission, transfer case, and axles. What is all included?
So powertrain, I'd have to get, and I'll let maybe Bennett jump in on that.
Let's see, not same as it has been. No wearable parts, so no brakes, none of that, usual stuff. But you cover the engine, transmission,
internal components is how I've always been told, as well. We can get there's publications out there that give you the specifics, but it is definitely the engine and driveline internal components.
So if a turbo fails on a Hurricane, would that be covered?
Yeah, let me. I can read it to you. I got it here.
Yeah.
So, because somebody just asked me this question.
Hard to say covered because it's we're not warranting the vehicle.
But the language from Ram says, well, I'm going to wait till it gets to turbocharger. So gasoline engine, cylinder block, internal parts, First time it mentions turbocharger housing and internal parts, turbocharger wastegate actuator, supercharger, serpentine belt tensioner, seals, gaskets for listed components only. So this whole document we can make available to anybody.
That's great. Yeah, that's awesome.
Share that with you. But yes, turbos, because it's exterior and internal as this reads. Like Aaron said, we're not warranting it. It is what is in the language that goes along with your VIN number and your name as they get attached.
Well, that's proof that if Ram was concerned about the Hurricane engine, they wouldn't extend the powertrain out an extra 40,000 miles. They must obviously feel pretty confident in it, which should make people it's a big deal to me.
Yeah. Especially saying, hey, come join us. If you're not sure, we are. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
So here's another
John,
good question.
Asked a question on this. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Go first. Well, John asked a question, why do you not sell Mopar extended warranties? I touched on this last time, and it's a great question. So Mopar sells their extended service contract. It is a third-party company. We actually used to be one of the top volume Mopar extended warranty dealers in the country. I think we're number 8. And this is before we did big volume on total new car sales. We were not the juggernaut that we are now. We found that there was no personal relationship. And so there's a Louisiana company called Louisiana Dealer Services, LDS, that does. They give us a say-so and they give us a voice. So, John, you have a vehicle. Doesn't matter if you live here. Doesn't matter if you're in California or wherever. It's good at any Stellantis store, and we can walk you through it. But we found that we've been able to control your experience with us from when you contact myself, Anthony, or one of my team members, and be able to control your experience, the process of buying the vehicle, with the price, with the financing. But what we were missing was your experience after the sale when you have to go to service and something happens. And relying on Mopar's extended warranty, Mopar is great, but the extended warranty is not owned by them and it's not serviced by them. I can't call them and say, hey, Rick, it should be a covered repair. You can do that with LDS. We have a say so. Now look, if it's not covered, it's not covered. Black and white. If it's not a covered repair, but there can be gray area. I had a customer who had a son that had a car that overheated. He had 2 weeks left on his warranty. It was covered, no problem. It comes 3 weeks later, after it had been expired, he's having the same problem. It was not really technically a covered repair. It was something else, and the warranty had expired. We asked LDS to cover it, and they said, okay. We have a relationship. I can't do that with Mopar. And so in Louisiana Dealer Services, It's like everybody gets that phone call. We're calling you about your extended warranty. So there's always this bad connotation out there. If a family member buys from me, I always have said, look, I don't want you to buy from me if you don't have an extended warranty. It's not that I don't believe in my product. I believe in the extended warranty. I don't buy one without it. My wife's got a wagoneer. We've talked about the thermostat issue. I've used it. It's a good product. And Mark does not believe in selling crap. Like
I wouldn't own any new modern vehicle outside of warranty.
Something I don't believe it.
Sure. Did we lose him?
Did we lose Aaron?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does, Kenneth. Yeah, I'm here. Sorry about that. Kenneth, it does include loaner. You do have a loaner part of that as well. It does have the same, once it's been diagnosed, you can qualify for a rental.
Great question. Great question. Peter's bringing a lot of the questions I'm thinking about a lot too here. Have you heard anything about the 392 being installed? So, I've heard a lot about this. It's all speculation at this point, to be fair. I
would love for it to be true. That's for sure.
My understanding, what I've heard, it's going to be behind the TRX. It's not, if it were to happen, it's going to be a few years behind that. I think if that truck ever makes it to production, it'll be a home run truck, especially in something not like an off-road truck. I think something like the F-150 Lobo, lowered down a little bit, sportier suspension. I sort of think that's where the market needs to kind of go at this point. The off-road truck thing is fun. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of neatness to it, but I think a lot of people appreciate more of a true sport truck with better handling on the road.
Man, I think if they would put like a Trackhawk powertrain underneath a 1500 with a 6.4, the supercharger, that truck would be crazy. Dominate the streets. It'd be crazy.
Yep.
And I really think that they should build that. Like you can ask Aaron. I ask him all the time. Are they putting the 6.4s in the 1500s?
Be a home run.
It would be. It's
called the Ram 1500 Scat Pack. It's there. The name's there.
There you go.
Be killer combo.
I saw a chart. It was quite a while ago now. I saw a chart that did show what you're talking about, a 6.4 liter in a Ram 1500. I didn't get it from the source that I would trust. It looked right, but it didn't come through the correct channel. So I did not get it from one of our reps. It looked similar. I mean, but there's no calendar to it. So, I mean, that can be as promising as any other thing that you can fantasize about in terms of powertrains. We've been talking about the Ram Rev and stuff like that for 3 years. So, maybe that exists on paper somewhere. It has to make sense with the other offerings on the table, with business volume, how it is when that's
exactly. And in full transparency, this is my opinion. As much as I love that truck, I think it'd be fun. The Ram Charger pickup truck, if it ever makes it to market, will be a monster. They're going to sell a ton of these things. It's going to be a high value truck. It'll be wicked fast on the street, good fuel economy. It's just the ultimate, and there's no competition. So it's like, if I'm Ram, man, I'm going to be focusing I would even focus on that more in the TRX, because they'll probably sell 150,000 of these things a year. They'll sell a ton of them. And so, I'm really excited for the Ram Charger to come out.
Yeah, me too.
It's exciting going forward with Mopar and all they're doing with the new Chargers and everything, going back to the 2-door and everything. That was probably the best thing they did with that thing.
For sure. Here's a good question Ken is asking, and this is going to bring me to a question about the Jeep Grand Wagoneer too. Have you guys seen any pictures of the 26 ProMaster? Is there an update or anything change at all?
So we don't have the licensing on our end to sell the 26 ProMaster.
Okay.
So it's not something we really dabble in.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I know that the Grand Wagoneer, my understanding, had a refresh for 26, but when you go on Jeep's website, there's not a lot of information out there, but it looks kind of like the Wagoneer S or EV front end that they kind of retrofitted onto the Grand Wagoneer. So I don't know what other changes internally inside of it, but externally it looks a little different.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet on any major changes on the Grand Wagoneer side.
I saw the update that they did. I haven't seen one in person yet, though. I know the 26, the Cherokee's coming back. I've heard rumors of a refresh on Grand Cherokee as well. I don't know how true that is.
It would make sense, Aaron, because it's so late. Like we're September 17th, and at the beginning of this month, they were like, still order the 25 Grand Cherokees. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
so maybe there is something interesting coming if we're going this late.
Sure.
Right. They're telling us something without telling us something.
Read between the lines. So
Yeah.
here's a question. So the EV tax credits are over after 9/30.
Mhm.
I'm curious what you guys are seeing. Are you seeing a plethora of orders right now on Wagoneer? Let's see, it would be Wagoneer S, right?
Mhm.
And the Charger, Challenger, whatever it is, the electric. Are you guys seeing a ton of orders? Are people buying those right now? Are they running like great deals? Because I know Ford right now is just, they're banging out the Mach-E's and the F-150 Lightnings because super cheap leases.
We ran out.
Wow, really?
We've sold all that we had.
Huh.
We're waiting to see what happens before we order more.
Yeah.
Just because that EV tax credit was such a help.
Huge.
So as much as I would love to just place more orders with signatures and deposits, about 6 weeks ago, I called Aaron. I'm like, hey man, like we got to be telling people like you can't order a Sahara 4xe and I quote you a lease that has this such payment, but neither Mark Dodge nor Stellantis can guarantee and price protect
That's
a
true.
federal tax program.
Yep.
There was a point probably 6-8 weeks ago. I was like, all right, we need to kind of like
Cut it off
here, sell everything we have. We had
Yep.
some that were in stock. We had some very awesome deals on them. But I don't want you waiting 4 months for a vehicle and then find out that it comes in at $200 more a month. That doesn't make
Good
sense.
point.
Yeah, it's not fair to anybody.
So all of that is all on hold. The Grand Cherokee 4xe was the first one to close. They closed ordering for that maybe back in May. Wrangler 4xe closed probably a month ago, and the 26 isn't open yet. So nothing is saying done. They're just saying the 26 isn't open yet. So we don't see that yet on our screens. Well, I can order a gas Wrangler. I can't order a 4xe.
Yep.
currently.
And the when it was the 4xe, it didn't get the full $7,500 rebate, right? Was it $2,500 or what was that?
It depended if you were doing retail or lease. Actually,
Okay.
Like if you were doing retail, it was $3,750. But
Okay.
if you were leasing it, it was a different code, so you actually did get $7,500.
Oh wow,
That was a common method.
interesting.
Yeah.
So yes, Ken. Unfortunately, well, it depends on if you want it or not. The electric Ram pickup truck has been axed, but I never really thought it was going to come out when we see how poorly that the Cybertruck was selling. And the Lightning, honestly, the Lightning did okay for a minute. And then actually, I think they've been moving a lot of inventory as of recently, just because you could go lease one for $250 to $350 a month. But otherwise, I mean, there's not a lot of demand like there was, or people thought there would be on the electric truck. So
I think the change in the administration pushed all of that for everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
The change before, I think, when was it, Anthony, when they had that big change, I want to say in 2022. Man, I just said his name earlier today. I can't think. When it changed legislation, it was in the fall. And then for that January, I mean, it just halted all of our 4xe. We were, believe it or not, the highest volume 4xe dealer in the nation 1 or 2 years in a row. I mean, we had at one time.
Not a single one of them stayed in Louisiana. They were all going to California,
New Jersey, California.
Florida.
When everybody was going through COVID, we had a moment where we had 1,400 or 1,600 sold orders in the system.
Wow.
And it was the summer of 2022. I think I almost had a mental breakdown. I came into the dealership and we had 600 vehicles on the grass to be processed, and they were all sold.
Unbelievable.
And everybody had my cell phone number wondering, where is my G?
Unreal.
It was amazing. It was really.
It's actually the day of my first interview. So I looked real good when there was 600 vehicles loading in. They're like, we need help. Anthony,
yeah, right.
We need help. Yeah, Aaron can't day drink. We need help. I had a stack of folders, just like this, of vehicles, and then I'd go through one, get halfway through and then just put another stack next to it. It was like out of a movie. It was cool.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Could always be worse, right?
There was nothing to complain about.
Sure.
It was pretty neat to see.
So here's the thought I've had. So the Hemi returned to a Wagoneer. I've wondered if they're going to do that also. I've thought You know, if the TRX comes out, why the heck would they not put that powertrain in a Grand Wagoneer? Could you imagine a Grand Wagoneer with a 6-suit to go after the Escalade V? Or, you know, that would just be awesome.
It would be amazing as long as they price it right.
Yes.
You know, I think it's a fantastic idea.
So speaking of pricing, let's speculate here. TRX is coming out. We all kind of know that. Look what they did with the Durango pricing for bringing back the Hemi, and like some shockers, I think, especially with the 392. What does it start at, $50,000 or something like that? Is that right?
I forget what that video said, but Durango Hellcat is currently starting at 82.
82.
That's what it was in 2021.
So
huge.
It got up to 99, and so it's back down to 82.
I had one at 106. So
yeah,
wow.
Yeah. Last year started at 99 because there were the silver bullets and the brass monkeys. And then if you added anything, that was just for what it was. And then if you added anything, you were easily getting into the 106, 108, I think was the highest one that I had.
Because this is
now that it starts at 82, but then you can jailbreak it and you can add calipers and seats and seat belts and stripes and all those kind of fun things. And that's cool. But to me, to your point of your question of speculating pricing on TRX, the fact that the Durango Hellcat came in at a price reduction this year makes me hopeful that the TRX will sit closer to above the RHO. I don't think they're going to overlap. I don't think there's an even swap there. I don't think that, you know, it's got to start with a good notch above and then go up from there. If
it's 15 grand above, that will be incredible. I really do think that for the value, my gut has been all along, they're going to do what Ford did. They're going to tack 30 grand over the 6-cylinder version. That's what Ford did with their, you know, the EcoBoost. You go from 82 to like 112 or something like that. It's almost exactly 30 grand. Guess we'll find out.
I hope we find out sooner than later. I still think we're going to have if they keep it even at the 112 range, you're going to have a huge audience. And it's a different, you have a lot of customers that do share between the RHO and TRX, and a lot of TRXs traded in RHOs. I think it's a different overall customer if you really look at the clientele base.
Yep.
And I don't like to use the word that afford, but it's a daily lifestyle. I've got friends with our Raptor R's, very close friends. They're like, it's just not practical. We love it.
100%.
But it's not practical.
You're talking to a guy. I had a 24 Raptor R. I loved it. The thing was fun. My son still talks about the truck that gave him butterflies when we'd accelerate, and he loved that. It was that visceralness that's fun. But once you get past that just watt throttle scenario, the day-to-day livability, I'm telling you, I'll take my RHO all day long. When I tow trailers 5,000-10,000 miles a year, my RHO is better than the Raptor R. What I love about the Raptor R is how you can adjust the exhaust, and you can go quiet mode to just wide open Baja. But what a lot of people don't know is that the Raptor R won't go quiet mode above 2,700 RPMs. Well, imagine what RPM you typically tow at in a Raptor R, about 2,700 RPMs. So imagine
on and off
on the highway towing, dude. After about an hour, you're just like, all right, I'm over this.
And crazy.
Yeah, it's if you don't tow and you just use it as a toy, amazing. And so for me, that's my trade-off. Like with TRX, like I've driven a bunch of them. I've almost owned a dozen of them. And I just get back to the usability and the day-to-day. I like the RHO more. I'm going to get substantially better fuel economy. I'm going to be able to sneak out of my house in the morning and not wake up like the next quarter mile of homes. You know what I mean? It's all trade-offs. So I think one thing that's going to be really awesome in the TRX, if they add this, a lot of people don't know this. And if you've drove a TRX or had a TRX and you went to an RHO, the driving mannerisms couldn't be any different. The trucks, even though they physically look the same, they don't drive the same. They don't feel the same. Forget the horsepower. The TRX just feels bigger. And I was actually talking to Rocky over at Rocky Road. He might even be watching right now. He's like, it's because the steering system. The TRX always had a standard rack and pinion.
Right.
And the RHO has got an electric power steering. I'm like, no kidding. That's what gives it that heavy steering feel and kind of makes it feel more, a little more antiquated. And so if they put that new electric power steering in the TRX, it'll have a big impact on the ride of how that truck goes down the road. And so I do think this new TRX will be awesome, especially if it's more than 700 horse. If they come out at it's any bit at 750 to 850 horse, it's just going to be, it'll really create a class above where the RHO is, where I think people will have a harder decision, I think, to what they go with.
Bennett, jump in and tell them the exciting news that Anthony announced that you're working on. If you don't love the way your Ram sounds, a 26 model, or your RHO sound, what are your options that we have?
I'm not sure if it extends to all Rams yet. I know it's RHO. It only says RHO exclusive on the site right now.
Okay.
But teamed with MagnaFlow, and there's 2 different exhaust options you can add. There's X mod, which is kind of like build your own exhaust. It comes with like a resonator delete, muffler delete, so you can open it up and be loud. I don't know exactly how it works or how easy it is to snap in place. I ordered our first sets. It's supposed to be in the middle of next week. We're going to slap one on so we can put some videos up how it sounds and how to take the mid pipe out or do all that stuff. We'll try to maybe get some videos of that and share so we can show how easy it is. And then we have the other one's called the Spec Kit, and we actually have a customer who bought our first one, and I did order one for the dealership. So we put that on the customer's vehicle. We'll get a version of how the cheaper set will cost. You can't modify that one. It's just a basic catback exhaust. Both of them are catback exhausts. The only difference is one you can mod, the other one you can't. I don't have the prices off the top of my head. Anthony, do you have those on you?
Yeah, I think the spec was including installation $2,750, and then X mod is $3,750 if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
And this is all through direct connect through
Correct.
Mopar. Okay, very cool. So this is something, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong, I say this the wrong way, but one of the advantages to direct connect Mopar is you get the warranty, right? Like, isn't it? It's like considered like a Mopar product. It's not like an aftermarket.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's as long as you do that at the time of sale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. At time of sale, there you go. So another good reason that if you're gonna, do that. I'm also curious. So it's 2,750, and what was the other one? 3,500.
3,750.
37. Do you guys know? Is there any horsepower gains or anything like that? Or is there...
I haven't seen any ratings yet. They didn't list any ratings in the advertisement.
This is the one, if I remember right, it's like a partnership with MagnaFlow. Is that right?
Correct.
Yep.
Very cool. Okay,
So
I've seen this system in person actually. Yeah, it's a pretty nice setup.
Does it have a very deep tone to it?
It's different. So Tim from Pickup Trucks Plus Talk, I saw it earlier this summer, and sadly we couldn't talk about it because there was a bit of a what do they call that? We just embargo. Tim and I couldn't talk about this, unfortunately. We could look at it, and I did in the video, and then there was a million questions from it, and it was dumb looking back. What's the point of even showing something you can't talk about? But it did sound nice, and I think the big thing for me is I'm coming from the automotive exhaust industry of a lot of my career. I'm pretty particular about looking at quality, and the quality of the system looked really nice. It looked OEM from what I remember. It didn't have like this. It didn't look cheap. It looked like you get what you're paying for. So that's kind of nice.
Like anything you get from MagnaFlow is always going to be top notch. They're a good company.
Yeah, for sure. So some questions on HD RAM. So no real changes, right, for 26 on the RAM, besides kind of like the Warlock, but same powertrain as 25 to 26, same exterior, same fascia, but the 26s do get, gas engines get the 100,000 mile powertrain warranty, right?
Yeah, well, actually, all engines do. So the gas engines have a bigger improvement in 26 because it went from 5 years 60,000 to 10-year 100,000 for powertrain. The diesels isn't as recognizable because they were already at 100. That was 100,000 5-year. So a lot of our diesel customers who are, living 6 months in the year in their fifth wheel, or they're full-time working, towing whatever trailers, like, man, it didn't change much for me. I burn 100,000 miles in 4 years. Sure, that is true. But for people who it's the weekend warrior and it's their secondary vehicle, the diesel also does get that 10 years. So same mileage, 100, but 10 years.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. Nice.
But no, other than that, not a lot of change, or no change that I've seen so far in the content of the HDs. But remember, the 25s came out with the entire powertrain update and transmission, and that was a very short year. It was very
limited
late
colors.
It was very late to be released with limited colors. It was open for 5 months worth of ordering, and then they used 26 more so to get back on the right schedule, as opposed to, hey, hurrah, there's new stuff 26. It was like, okay, well, we need to be producing the next model year, get back on a calendar that makes sense to people, where the new vehicle shows up late summer, fills up the lots on quarter 4. So that's all happened. Colors have expanded on the heavy duties. You've got the newest color, really the new color to me is ceramic, which is available on Night Edition Rams, which looks awesome, as well as Power Wagon and Rebel.
Cool.
Not available on like Longhorns or items with chrome. So it's designed to be that kind of flat gray, matte finish ceramic color. Same as the Lunars. If you saw Lunar TRX,
yeah, it's great color.
Rebels in 24 model year. They have made their transition from billet silver into silver zenith. They've made the transition from flame red into molten red. Those are all in production, all open, and then your regular black, white, granite.
And we have Canyon Lake in stock on half tons.
Half tons, yeah.
I'm driving Canyon Lake Rebel right now, and
nice.
My wife used to be changing trucks every couple of weeks, and when I know it's a good looking truck, when she goes, "Oh, that's good looking." When she
that's
says
cool.
So she stopped me yesterday. She goes, "Oh, I like that one."
Yep.
So while we're on the topic of colors, is Serrano? It's Serrano green, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that available yet to order?
Not yet. So on the last allocation call that we had, which was beginning of this month, on the calendar production, they had the performance evaluation runs called PERs, and those on Silver Zenith, we're talking 1500s, Silver Zenith, Molten Red, and Serrano were all still in like October or November to do their evaluation runs. That's testing before it can even get started. So all 3 of those last colors will be beyond November before we can order them.
Wow.
Is what it looks like.
So you actually have dates for those late availability, like as
sometimes. Sometimes it just happened to be on the calendar this time.
Got it.
That's the first time that I had that information to share.
Okay.
Whether it was supposed to be on there or not.
May.
It was
right.
You never know. You never know if you're supposed to see it or not, but it was there. So I'm going to say what I saw.
Well, I think it's important for people to kind of like balance out the equation. Let's say you're like, man, I'm dead set on Canyon Lake and you like the color, but then you're worried, what if the truck comes after January and you miss this 100,000 mile warranty or something? You kind of want to balance that out. Like what's the risk versus reward and looking and waiting for some of these colors? Because like you've told me, Anthony, in the past there were colors. What was the color that didn't actually make it to market last year?
Last year, 2025 model year Steel Storm.
That's it.
All the first code guides.
Yep.
And we went from December all the way through June, and we hadn't heard anything about Steel Storm. Forged Blue opened up, and then all of a sudden Steel Storm went away and they converted to Granite. And that's when Granite came back at the end of 2025 model year on RHOs. It had a very short window because it was like October to April that it was actually open for ordering. So yeah, there's a possibility, as much as I'm saying, okay, they got their product evaluation runs happening in November. There's a chance that it just doesn't make the cut for some reason. And we don't know what it is, but for some reason it gets scrapped and they say, hey, you know what? We're going to change gears and we're going to move back to this other idea.
It can be something.
We're going to borrow this one from Jeep or from Dodge or whatever and bring this color in instead.
It can be something as even simple as, hey, we tested dent, ding, scratches, and when you go to repair it, it don't
not
look
good.
Yeah.
Or the ram boxes never look right. We can't get the other component doesn't match.
Correct. Your filler door for your gas cap is not the same material that your truck is made out of, and so you'd be shocked how hard it is on these specialty flat colors. Canyon Lake, one of them, or and ceramic. I love both of these colors. I'm selling the heck out of them. I'm gonna keep selling them. But when let's say your cover falls off or gets scratched for your filler door, can be a pain to color match
Oh
it.
man,
So
don't you wish that on me, Ricky Bobby?
I'm not trying to. I'm just being honest. Like we're as transparent as get out. Like,
Oh man, you just freaked me right out.
Oh Lord, come on.
No, you're right.
That would be
You guys
the most
remember the
ironic
Camaro
thing.
back in the day? And the Camaro, it was like 2010, 2012, yellow, the Bumblebee, Camaro. When that Camaro came out, everyone said the rear bumper does not match the body. And then people were complaining it was a big problem for General Motors. And it ended up being an issue with the plastic on the bumper and the shading. They could never really get that situation figured out. And this was production.
It's a different
material. That's why when new colors come out, there's always a delay between the base thing coming out and night edition, sport, tungsten, anything that has all those other pieces color matched, door handles, bumpers, mirror caps. That's why those things take longer, is to get all those other things getting done. Yeah.
I was going to ask this question to Frank. Are there any big announcements coming soon? There's a lot of announcements coming. It's just the timing hasn't been rolled out really, so there's still a lot of speculation on that.
Yeah, we think TRX is coming, or we know TRX is coming. It's just a matter of how many and when they'll open up, and when then they will hopefully deliver them, like you said, that summer. I'm hoping sooner, but it could be before, it could be after. I think they've got a lot of exciting. The sentiment from all of our contacts has been, y'all need to buckle up. It's coming. Well, we know we've been saying this for the last 4 or 5, 6 months. It doesn't happen overnight. So we've got to get from not only the designs to the approvals to accounting has to approve and sign off on things as well. So there's a lot of back end stuff for them, but they're like, y'all need to buckle up. It is about 2026. These models are going to be just rolling. And that's the message that we've been getting.
You guys are fortunate because with Ram right now, man, it's like there's not a lot of like big craziness happening in the industry right now. It seems like Ram is just leading the way as far as like neat, fun stuff happening in this market right now. I mean, there's no one else is really doing anything right now, so it's a really good thing. And I think people are excited about that. Here's a good question. And this is a big deal to me. Is there going to be a 3500 Rebel 2 to have a higher payload? That would be really interesting truck to kind of go after, like that trimmer F350. And really for that, in my mind, it's the guy with the fifth wheel.
I haven't heard of them releasing a Rebel. Now they went years and years with just having the Rebel trim on the half ton. And we kept saying, can we please have it on the heavy duty? And they did it. It took a while. It's a great idea.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely no, I wouldn't be shocked, but I wouldn't hold my breath either. I hope they do, because it's a great idea. It really, really is.
Yep. Joe's asking a question here. We did talk about a little bit of some of the improvements earlier in the video, and definitely feel free to check back in this. This will be, if you don't see this live, you can still click back on the video on my channel and see this, but there were changes. I know specifically on the thermostats and things of that nature. And I've been hearing about over-the-air updates around the wiring or some sort of software communication. Curious what you guys have heard on this new electrical architecture, as far as any other updates you guys want to share, anything you guys might want to add to this.
Bennett, I haven't personally.
Yeah, I have. I don't either. I don't hear a lot about the updates because I am in parts. That's more of a service issue, and the RSUs come through because there's no parts involved, so they really don't ever come get me for that kind of stuff.
Sure.
I know that there are the updates for the 1500s and everything like that. So if you do get a random check engine light, don't panic. Sometimes it's just saying you need to update. It actually happened to our service director's truck just this week, and it's just a simple flash update and they're good to go. Cool. So don't panic if you get the RAM and you get a check engine light.
We haven't had anything recently that's like an RSU or a recall as far as something that we're going, oh gosh. What's the one thing we've been seeing is that warning service illumination light is out. It'll pop up on your dash. Mostly on half tons, I believe.
Yeah, most of them are the clusters in the half tons.
But it's a ghost code from what my understanding is, and I don't take this to the bank, but I haven't had one where it's causing a problem.
Okay.
And some of them go away after 7 or 8 restarts of the truck or cycles. But it's something that I think this may be hey, it's a flash. They clear it. There's nothing wrong. It's just a simple error message.
So this is a great point when you talk about a flash. Anthony and I were talking about this earlier. The 98 mile per hour thing.
Yeah, so I can say we've had it's a super interesting topic because it speaks to like why everybody wants this truck. It's exciting, it's fun, and you took away the fun gear, right? What we've found is that out of 640-ish 2025 RHOs that we have delivered that made it to their customer, only one person that we know of has come back to us and said like, hey, this happened. He got a service update done at a dealer close to his home, not with us. And after that service date, he had that issue. I know there's more. I know there's people out there who have had that issue. We've only had one report back to us. Now, part of that is that a lot of our customers live all over the country. I think they would have called us, though. I think they probably would have called us if they had this kind of thing. We've had one. So it seems like the number is very small. I did make some contacts on that customer's behalf, and there wasn't a final answer. There was an acknowledgement of, yes, we know this exists. Yes, we're working on the fix, but it was not resolved yet. That's a very small data set, out of 600 something. But at least it was acknowledged. It was acknowledged, but not solved just yet.
Yeah, that's all. The only one I've heard about too is that same one, Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I know.
It was. I want to use the word blown up out of proportion because I get it. But when we first heard of that complaint, like, oh gosh, how many are there?
We're gonna be in the weeds, man. And then nobody called.
It was a small percentage of even from what I think they were telling us, a very small percentage, and they were meant for the ones that were for export. And somehow that wires got crossed, but I think they caught it pretty quick.
I think it was like software update, something for export, like 200 trucks were impacted, but they thought potentially impacted, but I believe it was just an update. And I think where people's imaginations, this is the problem when you don't know the answer, people start looking for answers, and sometimes the answers they find might not be accurate. Is what was weird is at the time this was rolling out was the changes from the 25 to 26 Ram website, and they used to show the quarter mile speed, 118 mile per hour. And there were 4 sections of it because I saw it with my own eyes. It was like 35-inch tires, 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds, quarter mile, and then right next to it was 118 mile per hour. But for 2026, they changed it and removed the 118 mile per hour. So everyone's like, what the heck is going on here, And so it was just, I think, a simple oversight.
100%.
Yeah.
We all want to go to conspiracy theory like that, but I promise you, they don't think that far through it. They want to be as transparent. They really do want to be that transparent. Look, the websites stay behind, and I don't agree with it, but I understand they've got so much content that changes constantly. Not only because that's what you can order, but that may be what you can order at that time. So if you build something on the website and you send it to Anthony, you send it to Ashley, you send it to my team, well, just because it's on the website doesn't mean it's still available.
Sure.
Because they could run out. They run out of engines. They run out of 12-inch screens. They run out of demand is higher than supply. They don't have a team actively working on the website, which I hope one day that they will. It's a fluid change. As I don't expect same day by any means, but a fluid change on what's available and what's not available, what's compatible and what's not compatible. But I totally understand how that those could have been added up to the conclusion that they came up with for sure.
So, Peter, you bring up an interesting point, and I know a lot of people I've seen this comment on my videos as well. Why don't they put a Hemi in a 6.4 bed option? I think they will. This is my theory on this whole thing. I think right now it's just Ram's just trying to roll all this stuff out, and you got to start with one before you can kind of go from there. That's just my opinion, because there's a lot of complexity when you add an engine back in. Let me give you just an example. Going and throwing a V8 in a truck with a 5.7 box to a 6.4 box, it's a different exhaust system. You got a different length of an exhaust system. You got a different drive shaft. You got to go through all these different things. And it's not just putting an engine in there. There's a lot of components that you got to build into that. And so I would be surprised. I bet we'll see this in the future, but I also add this little caveat. I know, Anthony, you said 60-40 split, Hurricane still to Hemi, right? It'd be interesting 6 months from now, we come back and see what that number is, because I think we'll see the Hemi tailor off more. I think we'll see Hurricane. I bet it goes from a 60-40 to a 70-30 or an 80-20, because as more and more people get the Hurricane, I think more people are going to like it than the Hemi. And I've owned both. And I think the 5.7 Hemi is a great engine. I would never go back to a 5.7 Hemi, even versus a standard output. I'd still take a standard output Hurricane.
Yeah. So just to go back to Peter's question real quick, what I've been told is that the long bed 1500s will get the regular 5.7 Hemi that's available on the short beds. It was just too much to do this year. Too much to your point, Barry. Is like
Makes
it was
sense.
too much to get to, and by the sales volume. So as we also have to remember, while like my truck I think is like reasonably weird for what it is, and people who order trucks are very specific. The volume is 5.7 Hemi in a 5'7" bed. Like that's where the meat of it is. So getting that done first and getting it in production and then getting to the fringe. I like my 6'4" bed. Not everybody does. It doesn't exist everywhere. And so I'm with you on it. It should come. That's what we're told. Just not going to be this model year.
I certainly hope we're doing this again before 6 months, because it'll mean, I hope the next time we meet is TRX is open. Here's what we're doing. Here's your options. Here's our pricing. Get it while you can, because we're going to sell out of them.
Hopefully we got some supercharger kits we can talk about as well.
Better.
America. Yeah, me and Aaron have already made a promise that as soon as this TRX thing happens, we're going to fast track one of these live videos just to give you guys the updates on what's going on, so you can hear it first and fast and up front. We'll do this. It'll be quick. So as soon as it happens, we'll rally the troops.
Yeah, the day it opens, we'll jump on with you, because we normally announce same day as well, and what our pricing will be. I try to have that out within 10 minutes of it being released. So I'm always ready. They can do it right now. I'll have it out in 10 minutes. I promise.
I'm like, wait, Aaron, I need to run 3 more equations. He's like, let's go.
I'll tell him. He said, what about you? You're going to lose too much money. I was like, I don't care. Let's sell them. So I want 100 orders in 2 days. And then, I want 400 by the end of the month. Like, let's go. Yeah. We just want to order the trucks.
So I was just thinking about this, Anthony. What's the Anthony spec truck? You see so many orders coming through. What's the truck where you're like, dude, this is the truck that makes most sense?
Oh God! So
his truck, or what's the truck makes the most sense? Because
the truck that makes the most sense currently in terms of ordering, Laramie 1500, crew cab 5'7" bed, Hurricane, 0% interest, night edition, level 2, and safety group. I mean, that hits so much action.
Yep.
In that truck. Surround view cameras, passenger screen, ventilated seats, 14-inch Uconnect. Like there's so much happening. It's the look that people want with the night edition. Canyon Lake is available there.
That's sweet.
And then 0% interest. So if you can put a couple thousand down and finance the rest of it for 0%, and you have a lot that you can do with your money. Whatever money you were thinking about putting to the bank is actually staying in your pocket. So
Canyon Lake Rebel with the GT package.
There you go. There you go.
Now, what's my truck? I mean, you don't want my truck. It's a Hemi quad cab with big horn with every button checked, and
he sent me his build, and I'm like,
all different stuff. No,
hilarious.
He didn't get made fun of, I promise.
That's funny.
You know what? It got there. It was a good looking truck. It is a good looking truck. I said, buddy, you're going to want a crew. He's like, I want this. I'm like, okay. No. Everybody, there is a tush for every seat. And so
it's funny you say about the Rebel GT. I just did a video actually on this, and it's the first chance I had to get in one. And that's a pretty nice truck. It's amazing how you get in a Rebel GT versus an RHO, and you see the little nuances. And I like that truck. It's really cool. The standard output, people don't realize. I don't know how to explain it with the 392s and the smaller turbos.
Mhm.
That thing just gets up and makes power immediately. Whereas the high output, it's awesome, but it's a total different power experience. It's hard to explain.
You got your internals on that high output are forged and everything, and it's bigger turbo, so it's going to take a little bit longer to
Yeah,
sport. So
it
you're not
builds
going to get
power a
that
little
torque at the bottom
slower.
end. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
go ahead.
surprised with the Hurricanes myself, because I'll come from the Fords and the EcoBoost and all the issues they had when they put those in the F-150s. I was expecting the Hurricane to have a lot of the same issues, and none like whatsoever, except the thermostats only took one engine out, so
Yep,
very, very reliable.
it's awesome.
Mike asked a question about should I wait
Yeah,
for a 25? Mike, they're great deals. I don't know any changes to the 27s. I think that's so far out for us that I have no clue. Now, again, the 26s are on the lot right now with the 25s. If you can find a great truck that you like, spec the way you want, I think you buy it, because right now the pricing's strong, the choices are strong. And you can find a 25 for a good deal, but heck, I'm doing great deals on 26s as well. Some of the 25s are tagged with select inventory money, so they've got some extra discounts there. But I think you can't go wrong. I don't know of a reason to wait for a 27. They haven't told us anything about them. So like that answers your question. CNS Outdoors, I haven't heard anything about a 7.2. So I think if the right truck is out there right now, what I heard on the news yesterday is and this is all news. I don't know if it was CNN or Fox or whatever, but I was listening to Sirius and my Rebel, and they said currently the incentives are nationally on new cars are roughly about 7%. That paired with the interest rates going down right now, that paired with dealer discount, I think there is a good time to buy. And I think that's right now. I can't think of a reason not to, or something to wait for.
yeah.
Justin, you asked about the TRX being allocated like the Raptor based on certain stats. We don't know. In the past, they did the TRX as open allocation for sold orders only. I pray that's the same aspect, because that puts the power in the customer's hands. When you do something like you do with the Demon, where you allocate a dealership X amount for how much they've sold in the past, you're tying customers' hands to where a dealer can charge over MSRP because they only have 2, 3, 1, none, 8. We had 8. We sold them all at MSRP. And we could have sold – I had offers for people to pay, hey, I'll give you 50 grand behind under the table. I'll do this. I'll do that. No, we sold them all at 100 right at MSRP. And we don't believe in overcharging. In fact, I wish they'd done open allocation on Demons. I'd have sold as many as I possibly could have. I want you to have a cool car. I make my money in the total we make our money in our total overall. It's not really off of the customer. It's off of the volume.
It's awesome. Yeah.
It's really, I think, the right way to do it. And I hope that they do open allocation for sold orders on the TRX. I'd like you as
Durango Hellcat is open.
Oh, there we go.
So, and that does, open, like it's open, available. It is not allocated. It's not limited per dealer. So if you have a proper sold order, then you're good to go.
Paul,
Same way, I'm just being super hopeful. Same way I use my Durango Hellcat for my pricing hopefulness that like it's not going to start at 120 if they drop the Durango down. I'm hopeful. Same idea for the TRX in that in the allocation spec. Okay, well, if Durango I can order for any customer who is ready to put one together, then hopefully TRX will be the same. That's what.
So, Anthony, to add to that, and I missed it, it kind of froze up for a second, but did you say you can order Durango Hellcat right now, right?
Yes, sir.
And when is the plan for like production or deliver? Do you got any information like that?
Zero dates. So
Zero dates.
I got a couple orders in, and they sit without any dates assigned, which we kind of expected.
Yeah,
it's going to be a slow start. No dates at all. So hard to say on that.
I see that question you pulled up.
Yeah, Paul, it's too early. We don't know yet because until the release of this, it's all still speculation. I could see the logic around the theory, because certain states that are, what are there, 13 states or whatever that are aligned with that, maybe they won't be sold into that. There's always been federal and California emission standards for a long time. If you sold a vehicle selling into California, it had a little bit different after treatment system. So that's not I'm not totally surprised by that. If they do this, we just gotta kind of see. I mean, if they're gonna have so many, I mean, I'm sure there's guys in California who'd love to have it. So I hope they get the opportunity.
I think they will. I don't think that's their priority right now, is putting that out there. Or there's documents that they put out for us to have customers sign, or we sign per order. I think they're not there yet, so I can't see why they wouldn't. They're going to figure it out. That's too big of a market in California. It's too big of a market. I think it's New York, and they'll figure it out. And it's on my radar. And it's something that I'm reaching out to soon to ask, to say, hey guys, are we doing this?
We dancing.
What's the plan? I don't know if the plan's there or not. I think they've always done it, so I assume they're gonna do it. But I would be shocked and disappointed if they didn't. But I think we'll be okay.
All right. So here's the question. Let's all of us give our vote. Anthony, Hemi or Hurricane?
I'm going to say Hemi because that's what's in my driveway. My Hurricane experiences are limited for when I'm at the dealership putzing around and stuff like that. I love my Hemi for what it is. I have no problems. 10,000 miles in. It's a very, very small number of miles for a Hemi, but I'm going to go with that
for sure. How about you, Ben?
I'll go Hurricane based off of just the fact that when the gas mileage you're going to get, if not, the same or better gas mileage than the Hemi. The only caveat to that is the sound of a V8 you'll never be able to replace that with, a little 3.0. So that's my only caveat is sound wise, I'd pick the Hemi, but overall daily functionalities, I'd pick the Hurricane.
Cool. Mr. Aaron.
What truck?
Let's just go Ram 1500.
I'm out. If you give me the TRX, I'm going with it. I'm going to go with the Hemi. That's just me.
Yep.
But
what's available today.
I'm gonna go with the 3.0 and the tungsten.
It's a 3.0 tungsten. Yep. So that was my answer. Which Hemi? That was going to be my thought. Is like if there was a 392 version of a Ram 1500, man, that'd be a little tougher question at that point, because I do like something about that. The 6.4 is a pretty good motor, and it's solid, and it's been around forever, and it's simple, and you get to this point where there's like a performance part where I don't need more power. And then you start looking at like just reliability and simplicity. And for me, with what's available today, I would go Hurricane for my needs.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, I got a question for you, Ben. Here's a challenge I got for you.
All right.
This would be fun to do this experiment. Go to the technicians and the guys that work at Mark Dodge back in the area, and just go do a question. Hemi or Hurricane? I would love to hear the guys that work on this at such a big dealership, what those guys come back at. And then it'd be fun to see what that number is.
So you want which one they would choose in their vehicle, or which one would they choose to work on? Or
well, to own. If they're putting their money
in different question.
That's a good rebuttal there, Ben.
Oh, yeah. Right.
I can ask both of them. I got you.
Yeah, because if you go ask a Ford dealership, they're all going to be like, oh, man, the technicians love the EcoBoost. It's paid a lot of mortgage payments.
Exactly.
The billable hours.
Yeah. No, I'd just be curious if they're putting their money. I think right now, there's probably a lot of those guys are going to say probably a Hemi because it's been around a long time, tried and true.
That's what I feel. Most of them would say Hemi as well.
Yeah.
A lot of old school guys that work for us that have been doing it for several years, and
they take the longest to come around.
Yeah.
A lot of them would be.
I get it. I'll tell you, if smoothness, I've said this, if smoothness is any indication of a quality engine, dude, this Hurricane's lights out incredible, because I've never owned or been in a vehicle with a smoother powertrain at startup, it shut down everything than this thing.
Wow.
Agreed.
Cool. Well, I hope this was helpful for everybody. I'll still be monitoring comments and questions after this thing goes live. Appreciate everybody watching,
thank you for
and the
having
Mark
us.
Dodge team. You guys were
Absolutely,
super
man.
helpful.
Together.
Sorry about my crazy kids.
Nothing to be sorry about.
Oh man, it's school night, and they decided candy and chaos, and
Candy for
I
dinner.
asked to have this room, and that was overruled. So
That's cool.
yeah.
Well, hey, I appreciate you guys, supporting CTech-review and the audience and the RAM community, trying to get this transparency from you guys. I think it's helpful for everybody, including myself as a customer with you guys. I think it's really good, and appreciate what you guys do, and keep it up with helping everyone.
Hope the
Thank
next
you.
time we
Yeah,
see y'all is
absolutely.
announce the TRX.
Let's do it.
Yes, thank you guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care.